Hi everyone, Raphael Harry here, and you're listening to White Label American, a podcast where we hear stories from an immigrant or two, sometimes more. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome to another episode of White Label American. Thank you for joining us today. Before we begin, have you given us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify, Stitcher? Please do. If you haven't, go out there, support our work. It's the right thing to do. If you want to support us even more, join us on Patreon, enjoy bonus content, or you can just donate. Go to www.whitelabelamerican.com and hit the donate button. We accept, as low as $3. Or you can go as high as Jeff Bezos. I'm black and bald. So, Jeff Bezos like giving $100 million to his black, bald friends. So why not be like a Jeff Bezos? I will sing praises for you. I'll cry. I know how to cry. So, yeah, we accept dollars, euros, pounds sterling. But if you want to give Naira, man, let's negotiate on that. We'll talk. But no crypto. Crypto too, not just Naira. So don't come and say this guy don't like Nigerians. If you follow us on social media, yes, we are on TikTok. So yes, we need people to follow us on TikTok. I will try and add more videos there, and we also have a YouTube channel. So please follow us there. Help us grow. We need numbers so that they can. Is it Blue Mark or something like that? Yeah, not only the young people should get it. So with that being said, that out of the way, make sure you support us. Let's meet today's guest. He is an adjunct professor at the School of Visual Arts here in NYC, teaching Post-Colonial African African History. He's a columnist at the Premium Times newspaper.
Peoples Gazette.
Oh, sorry, Peoples Gazette. Why did I say Premium Times? He has authored 3 books. This American Life Sef. No, it's more than 3 books.
More than 3
Yeah,
books.
more than 3 books. But I'll just go with This American Life Sef. Children of a New God.
Retired God.
Wait. Sorry,
of a retired God.
Today. The son. Children of a Retired God. Chimamanda, amongst many. He is also hosts a satirical show on YouTube that covers the African political space and mostly Nigeria. He does a lot more than that, but we'll stop there because this man is we can go a whole day just reading his accolades. He's also, I'm pretty sure, he's won a few awards in there. So let's not go too far. Welcome to the show, Rudolf Ogoo Okonkwo, aka Dr. Njakiri Damages.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm really honored to be invited to this. It's been a long time. I know
Yes.
I got an email from you long ago that I should come, and I'm happy to be in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to Brooklyn. How are you doing today?
Good, very good. Wonderful.
Yes. So let's dive to the very beginning. Start there. Make it an origin story, because I love comic books. What's the meaning of your names, your beautiful names? And my madam even threw a question in there.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the story behind your names?
Okay, so I'm named Rudolf Ogoo Okonkwo. The other names, but these are the ones, and if you look at government papers,
Yeah.
So I Rudolph is, I don't know where that came from. I mean, I know it came from my father, but I don't know. There's something I didn't ask him before he died. So which Rudolph did he name me after? My father studied history at the University of Nigeria and Nsukka. So my guess is that it could be Rudolf Hess. Mm-hmm. There are so many Rudolf Hess. There's Rudolf Hess, who was Hitler's assistant. I hope it's not that one. There is Rudolf Hess, who was a leader in France. There was Rudolf Diesel, who discovered the diesel engine. Yeah. So it could be any of the Rudolphs. There was a Rudolph family in France who were king at one point. So I don't know. I didn't get a chance to ask him which one, but that's how I got Rudolph. In my family, we have those kind of names because my father studied history. So my immediate junior is Webster. The next one is Vivian. Okay. Then you have Churchill. You have Davidson. So these are our English names. But my Igbo name is Ogochukwu.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know who gave it to me. Maybe my mom or my dad or my grandmom. I don't know. But Ogochukwu means God's goodwill from God. Ogo, no, not goodwill. No. God's. Let me say the exact translation should be Ogo is goodwill. That's the closest I can think about now. I never thought about what I mean. Ogo, okay. Good, something from God. Yeah, goodwill. Yeah.
And Okonkwo
is a male child born on Nkwo Day. So in Igbo society, you have 4 market days. You have Eke, Orie, Afo, Nkwo. So if you're a male child born on Nkwo Day, you are Okonkwo. If you are a male child born on Afo Day, Okafo. If you are a male child born on Ore, Okoye. So that's how they were named at that point. So my grandfather was born on Nkwo Day, so he was called Okonkwo. And of course, Okonkwo and Tinsel apart. It's the same.
Yeah, that was,
I tell people that's the story of my grandfather. I tell Americans, I will go to the bank like this. I'll give them my ID card. They will look at it and say, "Oh, I know this." Okonkwo. I say, "Yeah, that's the story of my grandfather." They say, "Ah!" I say, "Yeah." Incidentally, Achebe was born. I mean, you may not know this. He was born in my hometown, Nobi.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So I will believe that that might be a story of my great grandfather. We are still investigating that.
There you go. So you might not be far from the truth.
Yeah.
So my missus was like, "You're talking to Dr. Damages? You got to ask him how does he have a German first name?"
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It could be German, it could be French.
Yeah.
It's actually spelled with F. Americans put PH, and I keep telling them it's not PH.
I actually spelled it with PH for a long time.
I said it's not PH, it's F.
I was
Rudolf with F.
do my final prep for today.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've been using the wrong spelling.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know which Rudolf it was, but whichever one, that's how it came about, because my father was a history student and a teacher of history too.
Yeah, I think it might be the French royalty. Because there's a lot of Franco-German.
Yeah, but again, the interesting thing is this, that so I can tell you the transition. If you go to if I'm in my hometown, and you call me Rudolf, I'll be shocked, because people don't know me as Rudolf in my hometown. Maybe now because of all the things I do, but growing up, I was Ogochukwu. So it was when I went to Akure for my university education that I got there. In my WAEC certificate is Ogochukwu R. Okonkwo. So when I got to Akure, they couldn't pronounce Ogochukwu, they couldn't pronounce Okonkwo. And, they said, "Don't you have any other name?" I said, "Okay, I have another name, Rudolf." So now Rudolf became my first name, and Ogochukwu now became my middle name. And I shortened it to Ogo, because they call me Ogo. What they call me, my mom would say Ogo, or my peers would say Ogo, So I shortened it to Ogo now. So my middle name is Ogo. But initially, when in my primary school and secondary school, it's Ogochukwu Okonkwo. So if I'm walking in New York and somebody sees me and said, Ogochukwu, I will know that person knew me from home, not from anything after primary, secondary school. And if I'm in my village and somebody calls me Rudolf, I would think, this person knows me from somewhere, a recent thing. It's not people recent. That I went to school with. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I only knew one Ogochukwu from early in my life. We were classmates from JSS2 back in Benin City. He was the first Ogochukwu that I knew, and we nicknamed him Ogosque.
Okay.
I don't even know why we called him Ogosque, because it's not like it was Ogochukwu. But
Ogonna, they can call, some people call me Ogonna too. Chukwu is God, or Ogochukwu, God's goodwill, like I said. And then Ogonna could be father, Ogonna, father, so they can shorten it. Like my son is Ogonna.
Okay.
So sometimes he will question me, why am I not Ogochukwu? I said, it's the same thing, but it's a shorter form. We said Ogonna. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ogonna. Awesome. So, can you introduce the audience to your place of birth and what your childhood was like?
Yeah. I was born in Nobi. Nobi is in Idemili South, local government area of Anambra State. It's a wonderful place. It's the center of the Idemili Idemili is a major part of Anambra State or Igbo land. So we call Nobi a holy land for many reasons. One is that the shrine of Idemili. I know you must have heard about Eki Idemili, the python of Idemili. The shrine of Idemili is in Nobi.
Yes.
So all the neighboring towns, in Idemili, all the towns in Idemili, they pay homage to Nobi, which is where the shrine. In the past, that's where you come. It's like going to Mecca,
it's a pilgrimage,
or going to Jerusalem, or going to Rome. You come to Idemili, come to Nobi. So the Europeans had to deal with Nobi before they conquered the territory. They had to use a different story. But it's a holy land.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just having this memory now, this flashback of what was that show that they used to do on Sunday on NTA? Was it with Franco Lise? Was it Newsline?
Yeah, I think it's Newsline, yeah.
And there was an episode, I think it might be in Demile that they were at, where they were interviewing somebody and he was talking about pythons being sacred.
You cannot kill it. You cannot it's a messenger of the gods.
Yeah. So he was, while they were interviewing the young man on the street, there was a python actually moving by the bushes, and he was pointing at it's sacred.
My grandmother would use her hand to take it out from the house.
So as he was pointing at it, and they were on the news, like it was like a live broadcast, and another, there was somebody on an Okada, the motorbike, who was just passing by, and the motorbike stopped, and the guy just jumped off and grabbed it and took off. And the man was
horrifying.
The young man's face. But I was too young to understand. Then I was like,
what?
I was laughing because it was like comedy to me. But the young man's face, he was horrified. It was trauma.
Oh, it's a trauma. Yeah.
I was like, what
if you kill it by accident, you have to give it a proper burial. Like
in Benin, it was the swallow, the bird, the swallow. Yeah, I once killed one in our house because they used to always end up flying into houses, and our ceiling fan, I had the ceiling fan on, and it knocked one down, and our housemate then was a Benin lady, and she was like, oh, no, get white cloth, and she got white handkerchief and covered. I was like, what are you doing? I was deeply Christian then, and but in my area, in my village, it's a monitor lizard.
Okay,
that's our
every community they have something, but
now I understand the trauma of that young man.
Yeah,
so every once in a while it pops up in my mind.
There's a story I don't tell anybody. There was somebody I wanted to hire to work for me, and I went through his Facebook page, and I saw a picture where he had the python.
Yes,
somebody, I don't know if it's a real picture, but someone cut it up and is cooking the python in a pot. And I was horrified. I couldn't take it out of my head. And I associated that immediately with the person. I'm thinking, no, the gods of my land will not allow me to hire this person to work for me. No, don't respect for the python. No, I don't want to upset the ancestors.
No. Yes, I don't know. I'll never forget that memory.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about the broadcast, but I just remember frankly, I was like, wow, what did we just see? We didn't have internet then, so I'm pretty sure that would have gone viral.
Yeah. But things have changed. Where I come from now, they can't hardly find the python anymore, because there are people who have come to settle in my hometown, Nobi. And they're from faraway places, even though they are Igbo people, and we suspect, not that we suspect, we know that they eat the python, and that's horrifying, Yeah.
So, that's sad though. Sad. But let's go to something more cheerful. So, from your childhood, what do you consider your favorite childhood memory?
Interesting. The first place I saw myself was in WTC Obunike, which was a women teachers training college. My father was.
I've heard that name.
Yeah, my father it used to be very, very famous. Most teachers you have in the southeast went to school there. And my father was a teacher there. So that was the first place I saw myself. We lived in a teacher's quarters, and it was very beautiful place. We were coming home during holidays and Christmas to visit my hometown. And we were treated like, expatriate kids, people coming from out of town, from the city, So, and my grandmother, my grandmother, both sides, they treat us like, we were wonderful childhood. My both parents were very, they were teachers. I started school when I was 4 because my mom was a teacher. I had to go to school with her, and I had to repeat the class because I was too young. So it was a very wonderful childhood being in Obunike, and then eventually we went back home. My mom and my siblings, we all went home to stay at home. My dad was then teaching at Metro Secondary School in Onisha.
Okay.
Onisha. So for a while we were home, and my dad was at Onisha, and then my dad then transferred to my hometown secondary school. So my childhood was wonderful all through my primary school. My mom was a teacher there. My high school, my dad was the vice principal. So I didn't have any problem. In the morning, they drive me to school. Teachers don't mess with me because so it was wonderful. Yeah.
So which out of all those memories was your favorite?
I can't think of. I know that there was a time in Obunike when we went to this Obunike cave. They have this cave. It's a very famous cave in Obunike.
Okay, I think that's what I think that's what I may have heard of.
Yeah,
Probably Frank Olize may have shown that one.
Yeah,
I watched a lot on his show.
It's a tourist attraction in Anambra State. I remember going there and going through the cave. It's scary, but there are places that you see bats. There is a place you then if there are dark places inside, you manage to come out and you'll be the feeling that you survived that. It's like in a Halloween here when you go through the scary, what do they call it?
Haunted house.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like that, But I have very, very easy and quiet childhood, except for, I don't remember how old I was on what year. If I can research it, I can find, was the day that my grandfather was, they did the funeral of my grandfather. That was something I don't forget because I am the incarnate of my grandfather. My grandfather died during the war. And because he died during the war, he was not given any proper burial.
Oh, okay.
So sometime in the 70s, I don't remember the year, my dad now was ready to do the funeral of my grandfather.
Yeah.
My grandfather was not a Christian. He refused to be a Christian. So they had to do it the traditional way. And because I'm the incarnate of my grandfather, I was considered the person who they were doing his funeral.
Wow. What was that experience like?
That was horrible. It was unbelievable because I didn't understand that. Everybody calls me Ezobidi. The name of my grandfather was Ezobidi. So that was what old women were calling me, Ezobidi. And my father was calling me my dad. If my father, when he was alive, he would say my dad, Nam. He calls me Nam, which means I'm his dad that came back. So on that day, they said I cannot eat in the house. I was basically isolated from everybody and treated as the person who actually is being buried. The funeral was, they buried him when he died. The funeral was happening. My funeral was happening. It was unbelievable.
How old were you?
I don't remember. I'll find these details. I don't remember, but maybe I was in primary school. So I was in primary school. So I was young. I didn't understand everything that was going on, and it was a traditional funeral, not the Christian type. And so there are masquerades, there are traditional things that were done. I wrote that in my memoir. It hasn't been published, but I'm working on.
I look forward to reading.
Yeah, I'm working on getting it published. But it was amazing, and that was where I saw the culture of my people, and I understood the depth of when they say you are an incarnate of somebody.
Okay, that makes that discussion that we had.
Yeah, that was what
makes
I
me
was.
understand
Yeah, I
certain
was
things.
referring to that a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
What was there any video taken of
No,
the
I don't think
ceremony?
there was a video, but there were pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, pictures of the event. Yeah.
Yeah, pictures still tell stories.
Yeah, there were
But
pictures.
I wish there was a video.
Yeah, there was no video. Yeah, I wish to. Yeah, because I couldn't recall everything and I couldn't be everywhere. You know, there were so many things going on.
Yeah, that's definitely now added to my list of. I definitely want to interview somebody who has experienced such. And anyone listening, even if you're not from Nigeria, and if you have experienced something similar, reach out to me. You guys know how to reach out to me. You can send me an audio message on my website, or send me an audio message on Instagram. And I have a sister from Zambia who keeps sending me audio messages. So if you have experienced that too, let me know. You know, because we are here to learn, and I need to learn. So yeah, that's something I'm definitely interested in, looking forward to. Because since we had that discussion on your show, I've been checking out other cultures and looking into their their belief in their system of reincarnation. And yeah, I just haven't looked at videos, but I would like to see the ceremony, or like if they have video documents of that. And just I would like to talk to somebody who experienced something like you experienced. Like, what does that feel like at that moment, where going through your funeral? Yeah, so that's fascinating. I don't think I've ever heard of it from that point of view. I've only just heard someone is the reincarnate of another person. So I think that's another is why it's easier for me to be distant from the reincarnation talk. But hearing that you got to experience your grandfather's funeral as yourself, being the reincarnate of your grandfather, I'm like, oh, okay, that's totally different. So all right, I respect that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Okay.
So staying with your childhood or younger self, what did younger Rudolph see what did younger Rudolph see older Rudolph doing as a career? You know, when he was let's say towards when he was approaching teenage years. If let's say we have a time travel machine, we go back now, we meet the 10-year-old Rudolph.
No, the answer is easy. I had no idea because I was told what I was going to be. My father told me from the time I could remember, you are going to be a doctor. There was no debate. There was nothing. He mapped it all out that I will be a doctor. I will have my own hospital. Anytime he needs money, he will just walk in. And if he gets to the door and somebody says, oh, you can't come in, the doctor is busy, he will use his leg and kick the door and walk in and just come and sit down and collect money and leave. You know?
That's it.
So he told me that. And there was no debate. There was no argument. And but that was what I put in JAMB when I took JAMB. I just told the story recently at a conference that I took my first JAMB. I didn't make the cutoff mark to go and study medicine. I had to take JAMB again, second time, So I had no idea what I wanted. I can tell you, thinking back, the only thing I thought I could do was, but I couldn't say it out because already it's settled I would be a doctor. But when I was young, I used to play soccer. Not that I was good, but I used to play soccer, and I get injured a lot. My leg will be, because we don't have shoes. We didn't have shoes, and I will have.
I only wore shoes after I came to America.
Yeah, to scrape your leg, and one of the things that fascinated me, it happened to all of us. So I always think there has to be something you can put on that wound to stop bleeding. So I kept looking for something. I would go and get banana leaves and squash it and try to put it on that to stop bleeding. I thought I would be a pharmacist to deal with these kind of things. Okay. So that was the only thing, but I couldn't even say that because you are going to be a doctor. There's nothing else.
Pharmacy is a downgrade.
Yeah, I did that. I did that. When I took JAMB the first time, I didn't make the cutoff. So I was admitted to FUTA, Akure Federal University of Technology, Akure, to study engineering.
Yeah.
So, but then that's not impressive to my dad. I had to take JAMB again.
No.
So instead of taking medicine, because I wasn't sure that I would make it, I didn't want to continue with engineering, I put pharmacy. And once again, I couldn't make the cutoff by just a little bit. So now I tried to, and it failed to. So then I wanted to go to Russia to study medicine.
Yeah.
Everything was all set, and then something happened, just a snag, and I couldn't get a scholarship, but I didn't go. And by that time, I spent 3 years studying engineering. So, and I had 2 more years left, so I finished engineering.
Wow.
So I won't say that I have any particular thing I was aiming for, other than what I was told, that you be a doctor, you know.
Well, that's still better than mine. Mine was, I still remember when I was, I think I was 11, and there was one holiday season, and I used to spend the holiday pretending I was reading speeches. And someone was coming to our house and he saw me outside, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm the general reading my speech." So, "Which general?" I said, "General."
You want to plan a coup?
I'm like, everybody, all I knew was that you have to be a general to be the leader of Nigeria.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I'm a general, and I have my stars, and I'm, my dear fellow Nigerians." And it's like, "Oh, that's a very good speech. Okay, good job." Like, I didn't know how you became a general, but I knew that you were a general and you become president. So
that's
so why not become a general?
Yeah. Interesting.
So that was the beginning of an aspiring dictator. That's how I became. Yeah, that was. I didn't understand that that meant having access to the treasury and a whole bunch of things. But I was just I become an aspiring dictator, and then before that I wanted to become a priest.
Wow.
I told my mom that I would like to become a priest, and a Catholic, because I was born into a Catholic church. And she said, "Okay, that's great, good news, that's good. Thank God." So you won't get married? I said, that was like the record scratch. Stop there. Even though I wasn't up to 11 years old, I was like, "Won't get married?" So do you mean all these priests I've been seeing, they're not married? She said, "No, celibacy." What is celibacy? Who cares about that? They're married to God, the word of God. Woman, keep that to yourself. I was too young, but I think I already began to know that there might be some. I think I was a child of my grandfather then, even though he married 10 wives. But I wasn't planning to marry 10, but I was just like, I like women. So it wasn't going to happen. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we shall jump forward a little bit and get into your arrival in America, end up with your recent work. Hi everyone, we've made it 2 years, and who would have thought so? So let's go further and make it 3, make it 4, make it 5, make it 6, who knows, 20. But we can't do this without your support. So join us on Patreon at patreon.com/white label American pod or linktree.com/white label American. Go there and you'll see our Patreon link, and you can join us for as low as $3. We have bonus content, we have bonus materials. There's so much juice over there that we don't release to the public, and you can contribute in making this podcast better. You can send questions, you can send your ideas, and also there's a lot of new things that are coming. The announcements are made on Patreon first, because we have to, take care of people who help make this podcast possible. So you can be the one to make this podcast what you want it to be. Come join us on Patreon and make it what you like to see. Join us, make it fantastic. Keep the 5 stars coming in, keep the love coming in. Thank you for the privilege of your company. So we're going to jump forward a little bit. I would have loved to talk about your days at the university, but
oh yeah, because that's actually where everything started.
Oh, okay. Let's start from there.
Yeah.
So you went to FUTA,
Akure,
in
yeah.
Akure. I know somebody who went there. I can't recall. Maybe it's one of my crushes.
Actually, I spent a semester at UNN.
Oh, UNN. Okay. Yeah,
UNN, because that's where I was applying to
UNN.
study medicine. So what happened was that when I got 237, in my JAMB, and the cutoff mark was for merit.
And that's a high score too.
Well, yeah. But the cutoff mark for merit was I think 275 or so.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't. I told them, okay, can I do my second choice? I applied for second choice. Of course, was microbiology, I think, or biochemistry. So I was willing to go to UNN and do biochemistry. So I went to UNN. I started attending classes. While they were going to Lagos JAMB office to get get me my admission to study biochemistry. But while they were doing that, FUTA gave me admission to come and study agric-engineering.
Oh.
I ignored it. I told my uncle was there. I said, Professor, I said, I don't want to come to FUTA. I want to be at UNN. So close to the end of the semester, I went to the department. I said, why is my letter not here? Admission to UNN. They said, oh, we saw that you've been admitted to FUTA to study engineering. I said, I know, but I don't want to go there. They said, then you have to go to Lagos and change that admission to continue with biochemistry at UNN. Me, I was 15. I have never gone to out of Anambra State or the East. How do I go to Lagos to change that? So at that point, I said, okay, you know what? Let me just go to FUTA and then I'll take JAMB again and study medicine. So that was what happened.
So what was that experience like for you when you first arrived at FUTA? This is your first time being outside of Eastern Nigeria.
Yeah. Well, it was a shock to me. Being there, I got there, the school has already resumed. Everybody is, I was late. I met one guy from Bayelsa State, Jimmy. He became my friend. The same day he came late too. And it was a different culture. They were speaking Yoruba and Pidgin English. I didn't know how to speak Pidgin English, being that I grew up in the East. Either you speak Igbo or you speak English. And so everything was new for me. The food, amala, you have to eat amala and the wedu and oil soup. And it was scary, I was, how can I survive this place? So it was difficult. And of course, it was a wonderful experience from the beginning. I didn't like it. It was a kind of a high school converted into a university, or something like a senior. I don't know what school that was converted. Like maybe it's a teachers training college. I was from UNN. UNN was huge. Big, huge, and I came to this small. It was so disappointing to me. And they were not even. They've not even had their first class graduates. First. It was a young school that time. Early days. Early days. Yeah. So I was there just to just take JAMB and then leave, So it was wonderful, new culture, new place, and I got into a lot of trouble, but that's a lot of this different story. Go ahead.
So, when did you begin to embrace your creative side of you?
Okay, so it started in secondary school. I was very small. I was younger than everybody in my class in every place I've been because I started school at 5. So at school they have this inter-house
sports.
Yeah, yes. and I was I couldn't do much of sports because I was very tiny. I was very skinny. The way they choose people to play soccer.
Yes,
boys will be and they say, okay, you come in. Come in. They look for big guys. Me, I'm very tiny. They won't pick me. So I won't be part of anything. I can't run.
You have to bring the ball if you want to get picked.
Oh, there was one time in my primary school, actually, the big boys were playing. I was on the side watching because I would never be picked. Yeah. And the ball came out. I wanted to kick it back inside the field. I kicked the ball and my leg was dislocated. I don't know what happened.
No.
It was horrible. So I'd stay away from playing or being part of anything. So what I did was during the inter-house sports, they do produce a magazine or not a pamphlet, something, to mark the events, And I wrote something for them in my secondary school, Nobi High School. And they published it. I was what? And then I wanted to write my own book. After I read Oliver Twist.
Yeah.
Charles
Dickens.
Dickens.
Yeah.
I said, I can write my own book. I was 11. I remember that time. And I started cutting. I cut off a paper. I made a cover of my book. I cut off papers for the inside copy. I started writing the title of the book, the dedication, and then I saw my brother, immediate junior, cutting papers to do the same thing. I gave up. I said, no.
What?
I wish I continued. So that was my first attempt at writing a book. I was 11. I don't forget that.
That's the opposite of me.
Yeah, I just said, okay, you play soccer, you do all the other things. This is the only thing I'm trying to do, and you're coming to do it. I don't care.
What?
So I left it.
I'm now thinking, is there a phase that all boys go through? I don't know about girls, but I know that my crew, when I was between that 11 and 14, we also caught that writing bug. Then I was in Benin before I moved to Ibadan, and we had read some Oliver Twist, Shakespeare, and others, and was like, yeah, we want to write.
I want to do that.
I've forgotten who one of us actually wrote to. He wrote to an author in the East, and the person wrote back to him and encouraged him. I can't recall who the person is, but that was like, he was like, we were 6 of us, and we used to call ourselves the Boston Boys. Our acronyms for our names fit into Boston somehow. I don't even know how we came up with that. And yeah, we said we were all going to become writers. And what killed my writing was that I wrote a vampire story, which I'm pretty sure has plenty of plagiarism in it. But when I would show it to the first adult I would show it to in my family, read it and just started laughing. I was laughing and just want to stop laughing, and I just put my head down and walked away. And
that's sad.
That was it. I said, yeah, I'm not going to write again.
Yeah.
And almost 20 years later, that person would just out of the blue one day ask me, hey man, I remember you wrote one book. What happened? Did you not write more?
Exactly.
And I was like, you remember that? He's like, yeah, I was looking forward to you writing more. I was like, do you remember your reaction? He's like, I don't remember. Well, didn't I encourage you? I thought I was encouraging you. I was like, that's one heck of an encouragement you gave.
Yeah, but laughing means if you made somebody laugh, that means it should have encouraged you, by seeing what you wrote.
Yeah, but I was a teenager. That was, that wasn't, I was at school then. School when Mr. Monsoon, our English teacher, read, if you didn't like your stuff, you're getting whipped. He flogged you. If he laughed, that means you're a dumb boy. Get out of here. So
it was my experience. So I forgot about it. I wrote for the Interhouse sports booklet, or maybe you call it a pamphlet.
Yeah,
and it was published. I like that. So when I got to the university, it was a strange place. I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
My uncle introduced me to somebody from my hometown, but grew up in Lagos. He became my friend. So one day we were talking in the room. This guy speaks Yoruba more than, he didn't want people to know that. I don't want to call his name now, but I can call his name. But anyway, he didn't want people to know he was Igbo.
Yeah.
His name was kind of different from, it's not like Okonkwo that once you say Okonkwo, people know that. So that time he didn't want people to know he was Igbo, so that girls were, girls were. So
I understand.
So we're always talking. When he comes to my room, that's the only time we speak Igbo. He's told me, if you see me outside, speak English to me.
Yeah.
So along the way, he saw that I was writing things. I started keeping diaries. I was writing. He said, "Why don't you write for the press?" He was a member of the press club at Futa. I said, "Okay, I will write." So I wrote something and I gave him. He read it. He liked it, and he said to me, "Okay, the press club at Futa, you have to use a pen name. You cannot use your real name to write." So there was this big guy at that time at the school, most famous writer. He wasn't even a writer, he was a cartoonist, but he was very famous. They called him Dr. Who.
Oh.
That was his name.
Fascinating.
Dr. Who. So after I finished writing my piece and he read it and said, "Oh, we're going to publish it," then he asked me, "What name are you going to use?" And I didn't have a guy name, that's what we call it that time. So, but I remember that in my secondary school, there was one guy they called Damages. That was his name. So I thought about one name to use. I said, you know what? Since Dr. Who is the biggest guy in this university, I'm Dr. Damages. That was how I used Dr. Damages for the first time. And it became my name at the university. And I started writing. And of course, it didn't take time before my writing became trouble. There was a time that I was almost expelled from the university because of something I wrote. There were many things that happened. So before, I was very quiet. Remember, I wasn't I wasn't comfortable at the university. I wasn't known.
Yeah.
But within 1 year of joining the press, I became well known, Dr. Damages. So that was
causing damages.
That was how we got Dr. Damages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. So let's jump forward a little bit. So, how did you end up arriving in United States?
Oh, it's another long story. First, I left Nigeria during Babangida's time.
Mm-hmm. Was it after the
before the election? Before the election.
Oh,
So what happened was that I got fired. So first of all, after doing my youth service, I did my youth service in Akwanga, Plateau State.
Yeah.
I was teaching in the College of Education for my youth service. So after that, while I was there, I was writing Marilyn Ezekiel at Classic. I was writing her, sending her every week. I was sending her my article. I was writing an article for a high school near the college where I was teaching. So I was sending her what I was writing for the high school. And one day I went to Lagos before the end of the youth service. I went to see her. It was dramatic. I went to see her. She wouldn't let me come and see her. I wrote a note to her secretary 3 times. The way it works is that she has a big office like this, and people will line up outside waiting for her to come. You write a note, they pass it to her. She will look at the notes, decide who to come. She looked at my own, said that I should go and see Aduba, his editor. I said, I don't want to see Aduba. I want to see me. I write another note. She will reject seeing me. Then the last one I wrote that if she doesn't see me, I will kill myself. So she said, let Rudolf come. So I went in. I'm like, yes, I'm meeting me. It was a wonderful day. So I met me, and she said she read all my works. She took me inside the newsroom, introduced me to the editors, and said to them, this guy is very prolific. He said, when you finish your service, come to Lagos and work for Classic. Yes. And I finished my youth service. I went to Lagos. I got hired in Classic magazine to work for them. But they gave me 6 months to write a cover story.
Okay.
Cover story is the main story of the, I couldn't in 6 months because I didn't know where the stories were coming from. I didn't know anybody in Lagos. I was writing small pieces of stories. But eventually, they told me that I have to leave after 6 months because I didn't write cover story. I felt sad. This was my dream to write for Classic. Me was like my model writer. I know it's unbelievable. I'll tell you a story about me. But anyway, so that was how I went to Daily Mail. Majomi was the owner of Daily Mail. So I went to Daily Mail. I got a letter from Edim Mandago. That's another story. He gave me a note and said, go and see the editor of Daily Mail. I think they might hire you. So I went there. I saw the editor, Ifanyu Babuko. He said, what did you study in school? I said, engineering. He said, what are you doing here?
No, right?
I said, I want to be a journalist, what have you done? I showed him what I did at Classic and other places. And he said, okay, I'll make you the agri correspondent for Daily Mail. I said, okay, thank you, sir. And I said, but I also want to do arts. He said, okay, anything you want to do.
Wow.
So it's like I got to Daily Mail. The paper was, struggling and people were not motivated. And before then, when I left Classic, when they told me to leave, I went to The Guardian and I was an intern at The Guardian. So they will give me 50 naira a month to go and write stories. They will use some, they will use some. But I was writing opinion piece for The Guardian, but they won't publish it. Eddie Manago, who is from my hometown, was the editorial board chairman. I'll give it to him. He will just throw it in the trash. Say, look, go and cover stories. Stop writing this nonsense.
Yeah. Wow.
Go and write stories.
Everybody wanted cover story.
Yeah, they want me to go out and get stories. He said, don't write opinion. You are too young. You don't know anything. Go and cover stories. Get us stories. So when I got to Daily Mail, the paper was open. People were not motivated. I had unpublished opinion pieces everywhere. So I was publishing like 2 every week, 3. At a point, everybody was like, the publisher came. Majomi came and looked for me and said, I want to make you editorial board member. I was the youngest editorial board member in any newspaper in Nigeria.
Wow.
I was meeting with these old people, writing editorial. It was, but again, I kept a column at the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
My own, the story is amazing. So I don't know, but
I'm just enjoying you telling
the point is that this is my memoir. All this is my memoir. So the point was that when I got to the Daily Mail, they made me agric correspondent.
Yes.
I told him that I wanted to cover energy and cover arts. So I was their energy correspondent. I was their agri correspondent. I was their arts
correspondent.
And they gave me 2 pages on Saturday to do whatever I liked. So I would go and cover events, arts events like exhibitions, interview writers, and then I made up my own column in that 2 pages, and I called it Critics' Choice. So I was writing whatever I liked.
I'm just realized that I read your work.
I was writing
as a kid.
I was writing whatever I liked. It was the best thing in this world. And the people at Daily Mail, they said, oh, one day you'll be tired because we started this way and then we got frustrated. They didn't know that I had articles that I could publish for a year that were written that were not published at The Guardian. So I was doing well. So the publisher now saw that this guy writing this thing, he was a good guy. He brought me to the editorial board. I did not stop reporting. I continued to report. I write editorial with the editorial board.
Yeah.
Then one day, I wrote an opinion piece under my column. It says they closed down the Reporter newspaper, a Kaduna-based newspaper. The Babangida administration closed it down. I wrote my own column saying that it was a terrible thing that the government did, that Babangida should not close down. Yeah. Meanwhile, the newspaper I work for, that I'm a member of the editorial board, wrote an editorial piece saying that it was a good thing they closed. So the publisher was mad.
Conflict.
He was mad. He screamed at the editor, and the editor called me and said that I should not, that from then on, anything I write, I must make sure he will read it before it's published. Because at a point, he stopped reading my work. So that was what was going on. And then, I was doing these 3 things at the same time. Then one day, the editor relaxed again. And I wrote a piece, a letter to Majorca. 2 years after Majorca was killed, after the coup, I wrote a letter to him. In the letter, I was telling him that, you were right to, all those things you said about Babangida, it was true. The thing is so bad now. So the publisher got angry because he texted the newspaper to Abuja, to Babangida. He was so mad. I was attending a conference at the UN, UNESCO or something in Lagos. And they summoned me to come back to, initially they said I should come back to the Mail. On my way to the Mail, they said I got to the Mail, they said I've been fired, that I should come to the publisher's house in Victoria Land. I didn't go, but that was how my career ended in Daily Mail. Wow. And I had to leave the country immediately because they were looking for me. It was really terrible. So anyway.
Babangida wasn't, people don't talk about that side a lot, but he wasn't friendly to journalists. Yeah.
So that was the story. So I left and went to England. Oh, first of all, I went to Geneva. Okay. So when this thing was happening, I was already approved to attend the OPEC conference in Geneva.
Okay, yeah, because you were energy.
I was energy correspondent. So I went to Geneva, and then from Geneva I now went to London and stayed in London.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you arrive in London. What's that experience like?
Oh, London was now that's where my grandfather came back again. So my grandfather had an issue with the British.
Yeah.
And I'm my grandfather. And before he died, he said he will come back. And that when he comes back, he will deal with the British, he will revenge. So I saw myself in London. I remember that my grandfather and these British people did some bad things to my grandfather. But in London, I started trying to, you have to survive,
Yes.
And then I joined, I started writing for another magazine, a Nigerian magazine in London called Journal of Nigerian Affairs in London. So
Is it still
no, it's
running?
not. It's still not there. It's not there anymore. So I started writing for them, and the publisher, when they had the World Cup in America,
Yeah, yes.
the publisher sent me to come and cover the World Cup.
Oh, so that was your
1990
first time in America.
First time in America, 1995. So I came to America and covered the World Cup. I liked America. I went back to London.
I think I know how America got you now.
Oh yeah. Listen, England was very small. Everything was small. The cars, the drinks. When I landed here, I landed in Washington D.C. I had some dollars. I didn't know the difference between $20 and $10. In Britain, the money, like Nigerian money, different colors.
Different colors.
I took $100. I put in a machine to give me a cart where I'll put my luggage. And he took it because the road there don't put more than $5. That was my first experience. I came out, my cousin in Virginia who came to pick me up had a big truck, one of these F200 or something, big truck. And he had this big giant Coke. I said, look, I like this country. I don't like this small. So anyway, I went to him. I went to cover the World Cup where Stephen Keshi and Nigeria played Argentina and all those things. So after that, I went back to England. I packed my things and then came to America.
Wow. So how did you end up in New York?
Oh, that's another. This story, I don't know if I have enough time. But anyway, Just
give us the short version.
Short version. Okay. So I stayed in Virginia. I came back to Virginia where I have somebody. Then from Virginia, I went to Boston to live.
Okay.
And then from Boston, I got married to my wife Edna, who was
that's where you met your wife.
Yeah, I met her online. That's another story.
Hey.
At that point I was writing for Nigeria World. So we have this Nigeria World message board.
Yes.
Where we go there and argue and discuss Nigeria. And she was following me and we started talking and so I got married to her in New York. I was living in Boston. So she moved to Boston. After 1 year, she didn't like it.
Of course, you can't. Come on.
She moved back to New York. I stayed in Boston for 1 year.
Civilization.
I stayed in Boston, hoping that she will.
I mean, I love you guys, Boston. Still give us money. We'll take our second.
So I was hoping that she will, she will come back. She didn't come back. So then I had to move to New York. That was how I came to New York.
Move for love.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I moved to New York, and I've been happy that I'm here.
All right, so we don't have much time left, so I still have to ask this question.
Okay.
You do a lot of things with your career. I'm pretty sure that even though you did not open the hospital and you're not officially a doctor as your father wanted, but I think your father should still be proud of you.
Oh yeah. I think he should. He didn't see Dr. Damages. He was long gone before the first episode of Dr. Damages. But he read Children of a Retired God.
Okay.
And he was impressed. He knew that finally, he
this Pekin is there's something there.
Yeah. I still have his review of Children of a Retired God.
Oh, that's awesome.
He will be happy that and Jam, I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor now,
that.
so
I love
you
that.
can't do anything about that.
So I'm still going to ask, how and in what ways does Rudolf Ogoo get to relax and recharge his batteries, with all that he does,
Yeah, it's a difficult thing. I don't know. I like,
and I don't count going back to Nigeria as relaxing.
No, it's not. I don't even go frequently. No, I don't go frequently. No, I where I am at home is in the library when I go to a public library and I just discovered one. I just registered in one near where I live, and I walked through all the floors. I looked at virtually all the books. I spent hours looking at books, the ones I've never seen, and that's like home.
I can't recommend that enough.
Yeah, that's like home.
That's like one of my regrets of when I first arrived in America. I didn't go near the library.
Oh,
but when I walked into one for the first time, I was like,
No,
Now,
no.
this thing that they call library.
Yeah.
Chai.
It's home for me. When I get there, I don't care what's happening around the world. I don't care about anything
It's
else.
true.
It's like I'm consulting the ancestors. All it's amazing. It's really amazing. So that's what I do. I used to like to watch movies. I don't have time to watch movies. I don't, there's no time. I used to, I mean, I write a column. Okay. So sometimes it's a wonderful thing when I'm thinking of what to write and I'm writing those things and how people react to those columns. It's still amazing because I wanted to be me. All I wanted growing up, studying engineering, engineering was not my interest. I was writing for the press, and I wanted, if I grew up, I want to be the next me. I just wanted to have a column. Yeah. That was all I wanted in my life. This is my column in a newspaper. That was it. That was it. It's something, to me, it's not a job. It's something I enjoy doing, especially when I'm doing a satirical piece. I'm playing with the minds of the reader. They don't know where I'm going and what it meant, and they're thinking, what is it? So.
Yeah, it's one thing I always remind people when I send your work to them, then there's like this outrage reaction, and I'm like,
read behind it.
That's sometimes that's all I. Sometimes I think about explaining, and I'm like, no, I just send one word, satire.
There's this last one I wrote, that Sam, the columnist, finished it. People were angry, losing their mind.
Most people just read that headline
losing their mind.
Dr. Damage is supporting.
Losing their minds. I laugh, So that's something I love to do. I would do it without being paid, and I've done it for many years now.
I'm still giving money though.
Yeah,
I know some of you listen to that now. He's a satirical guy. He said, don't pay him. I said, no.
No. I get paid these days. I have to.
No, I'm still reminding them that they should.
I got to, even if it's not of anything importance, but at least show respect for the time.
Yes.
I just finished a column that took me at least the whole of yesterday. There was nothing else I did more than 8 hours.
Wow.
And sometimes people don't appreciate how much time is put. But if you're a writer, you will know. If you're reading it, you know that the research involved in doing this, and then the craft in presenting it the way it is presented, it requires time. So
and one thing I like about your style, about you, is that if you get feedback and someone points out, maybe you could have said this in a different way, you be like, but I'm not too familiar with that field. But this is why you do this. You don't just be like, how dare you try to...
Oh, no. You don't fight. You don't fight with the readers or people who comment on Dr. Damages. You don't fight them, No, you respect them. The fact that they spend the time.
If you give me money, though, I don't fight you. My money is different. I won't fight you. I don't have time to fight, to be honest. Even if you give me money.
I don't argue. I don't argue with anybody. One of my commonest expression is, if you're attacking me, is to say that you finished me. I don't know how I'm going to come out tomorrow. I'm scared now, but
I'll just say you win.
Exactly.
I'll give you the win.
It's
do you need a participation trophy? I'll give you the address of where they make it. Go there and make it.
Yeah. So it's wonderful.
All right. So let me begin to officially wrap it up. Yes, I think Madam had some questions in there. My madam is German, so she went with the German bureaucracy of asking questions. I said, Madam, easy now, easy on him, easy. She will be like, I didn't.
Make sure you cover her questions, otherwise,
Yeah, I think I did.
Okay.
But we can't let you go without 2 more questions.
Okay.
So they are quick questions. So I know the answer. I believe I know the answer of this one.
Okay.
So you've been in New York for quite some time.
Yeah.
When it comes to cuisine, what is your go-to number 1 New York cuisine?
Oh, okay. So my wife cooks better than all the restaurants in New York.
Yes.
I mean, I'm talking about African restaurants, and I hope that's what you're talking about.
You're talking about when it comes to New York, whether it's Africa you want to go with, but when it comes to food in New York.
Yeah.
What is your go-to, the number one?
No,
I think I already know it because I've seen you with it more than 5 times now. So.
No. You don't. They don't. What you see on the show is different thing. But seriously, people who know me very well and all my friends, they enjoy coming over to my house because my wife is a wonderful, wonderful cook.
Okay.
We if you see me at a restaurant, it's because she has no time and there's no, and then I have a guest and I have to take the guest there because we didn't have time. But normally I get everything at home. Yeah. But I also like American food. I used to, when I was in Virginia, I used to work in Grace Steak and Potato Company.
Okay.
It's in a mall. It's a fast food kind of restaurant. We prepare steak and cheese.
Wow.
So I'm an expert on that. I do it for my kids.
Wait, so how do you like your steak?
Not the steak, the big meat. This is a steak you put on a sandwich. But I like it well done. I don't like blood. I don't like blood coming out. Well done. But I understand. Yeah, I don't like. No. Remember, I'm from Idemili, so we don't mess with blood.
Yes,
so anyway. Yes. So I eat African food all the time. But if it's not available, I'm open. I eat everything. I like pizza.
I was waiting for you.
No. I like that. I like that. Italian. We have. I eat everything. Any kind of pizza. And then of course I eat fast food. Okay, my friend Okay in the Bay is always amazed that I eat
the best
food.
Pizza is still in Brooklyn, you know that.
Yeah, that's what they said, but I don't. I'm not involved in that. I eat anyone from anywhere. I'm not involved in that.
No discrimination when it comes to pizza.
Yeah. Brooklyn is okay, Yeah. So, but most of the time I really don't eat out. I don't eat out. Most of the time I eat at home. Yeah.
All right. So, every guest on this show is automatically considered a dancer. That's all you need. You just need to appear on this show. We already bought dancing shoes for you. So you don't need to tell us. If you still want to deny that you dance, we'll kick you out. We'll stop recording and kick you out. So we need you to dance for at least an hour. And don't worry, we're not making a video. But for you to dance for an hour, we need you to give us at least 3 artists that can keep you dancing for an hour. And now we don't give us Burna Boy or the latest, the most popular artist. And don't give us Sir Oliver De Coke. I think somebody has already given us that. Oliver De Coke. The R.I.P. But so give us 3.
Wait. Before I even give you that, you have to know that along the way I will have been a musician.
Oh,
that's something I didn't.
Okay, so part
about.
2 now.
Actually, I don't think this is even in my memoir. When I was in college, I formed a band.
What?
With one guy. I don't even remember his name, but I can find my diary and find the guy's name. When I was in college, we formed a band, and we actually, I wrote a song that we practiced several times. There was a musician in my university in Akure that was grooming us to be one of the to be musicians. I would have been a musician if not that there was a strike and we went home, the school was closed and the guy didn't come back.
Man,
but we started singing the song and I still remember the line in the song. Maybe but at the point I wanted to be the next Bob Marley.
Wow.
I'm a big reggae.
All right.
I know every song by Bob Marley. I can sing almost all of them. So I have this picture that is in a very big safe. FBI cannot even get to that.
Even with warrants?
No, with warrants. I was wearing a wig, my mom's wig, and I turned the wig into dreadlocks.
Oh, man.
And that was when at the peak of my Bob Marley kind of madness, obsession with Bob. So I'm a big reggae fan. I'm a big, I like country music.
Okay. We have plenty of country music back.
Oh yeah, everybody.
Who don't understand.
They don't understand the connection between the story of the country music. Also. So
give us one artist from reggae.
Bob Marley. What are you talking about? One artist.
That's most popular.
No, I can. Oh no. Okay. I know all of them. Eric Donaldson.
Okay.
I'm talking about past. I'm not even talking about this young. Peter Tosh is like one of the geniuses, of Gregory Isaac.
That's
Yellow Man.
Yellow Man.
Yellow Man.
Yellow Man.
Yeah. Of course, Ziggy Marley has one of the greatest songs that that I don't know why it's not in everybody's play. I have a
I have
playlist.
Ziggy Marley on my playlist. I have Yellow Man on my playlist.
Okay.
And my playlist has everybody. Every music genre.
Alpha Blondie,
Hey.
My
my daughter even actually sang Sweet Fanta Diallo. But I was like, I don't know if you should be singing that.
Oh, Fanta Diallo. Sweet Fanta Diallo.
Yeah, that was one of my songs from
Fanta
childhood.
Diallo. Anyway, so reggae is my to-go-to music,
Okay.
But of course, I listen to all genre of music, everything. But if I'm going to, I can't forget mentioning Michael Jackson.
Yeah. That's why I said we can't go with the most popular. We have to. Too many people have gone there.
Oh, okay. If I tell you what my best song, but Michael Jackson's song is, it's not even what other people
Which
talk
one is
about.
it?
So but I'm saying, like Bob Marley, for instance, people will tell you all the popular ones, One Love. It's not those kind of songs.
No.
I have Give Thanks and Praises to the Most High from Confrontation.
I was expecting you to say I shot the sheriff.
No, that's popular. No, I know. I'm talking about deep.
Okay,
I follow these guys.
Yes.
It's deep. It's not on the surface.
I mean, when it was when I became an adult, I realized who Bob Marley was. Not childhood.
Michael Jackson is keep the faith. I think people should listen to that. I mean, people, if you are feeling down, go and listen to Keep the Faith. There's no video of that song. He didn't even make a video of the song, but it's in the album Bad. It's wonderful. I think it's bad. Yeah. So anyway.
So final question: What would you like to leave the audience with? Could be from one of your books that you've written. It could be a line from one of your books, or it could be from one of your reggae tunes, or it could be from the song that you've written.
Oh, my song.
I don't know. Anything that inspires you that you would like to inspire the audience with. This is your freestyle moment.
Wow. All right. That's cool. You should have told me this before.
That's the point. Is to pull it out of you from your heart.
No, I think there's something that my father told me that I never forgot. He said that I should make for myself what I want to be. Despite the fact that he wanted me to be a doctor, and pushed for me to be a doctor, he never at any point, when he saw how things were going, I didn't become a doctor. I became an engineer. He wasn't really very, very proud of being an engineer. But he kept saying, make for yourself what you want to be. And when I left home after my youth service, that was the only thing I have in my mind. I'm going to make for myself the thing I wanted to be. And I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be a reporter. I wanted to write like Mayor Ellen Ezekiel. And that was my driving force. That was what became my motivation. And they gave me the freedom to do that. There was never a time that when I was writing, even though it was dangerous, my father believed at that point that, that's what I wanted to be. You do that. And maybe what helped is that we are many. We are 6 boys and 1 girl. So maybe I've been written off, and then the other ones we follow the traditional path, and it worked out very well. So to people who are watching, who are listening, I say, make for yourself what you want to be, and you can be anything you want to be. Nothing can stop you. Nobody can stop you. You just have to be crazy enough. So I have speech impairment. But I do things that if I think about it, I should be scared. I should be scared of doing that. I didn't do well in English in WAEC. I got A's in sciences. I got P in English, but I didn't get C.
Wow.
I didn't do well. But when I write, you learn. You practice. You learn, and you can do anything you want it to be. Anything you want it to do.
That is beautiful. I'm going to take that quote and print it and make it large.
Yeah.
And put it in my daughter's room.
Yeah.
make for yourself what you
want to be. Yeah, it's in your hands. You can do it. Anything,
Yeah, and I will keep it in her room, and but also I'll put at the bottom, as far as you give me my share of the millions.
Yes.
There's a caveat.
Yeah,
that I'm still getting my share.
Yeah, but the other thing is, I think one of the things that are for young people today, especially Nigerians, things are very hard in the country.
Yes.
And there is this big emphasis on money. And I think it's destroying a lot of young people. Money is good. If you have it, it's good. It makes life a lot easier. But if you put that first, that's where people run into problems, because the opportunities you can get and things you can do if money is not your first priority. What stops a lot of people, especially in careers like journalism and writing. If you put money first, you may never you get frustrated.
That's
you get frustrated, and you may never attain your potential. So
definitely we're gonna have a part 2 because we'll have to talk more about that. So yes, we'll set up a part 2.
Yeah.
So please let the audience know where they can find you.
Okay.
Best place to get in touch.
All right. Dr. Damages at Facebook, YouTube, wherever is Dr. Damages. Twitter, Instagram, Dr. Damages. And everything is Dr. Damages. If there are 2, let me know. If there's anybody claiming to be Dr. Damages, let me know. And that's where I'm everywhere. Yeah.
All right. I'll have the original links in the show notes. So be sure to check out the show notes. And yes, thank you for staying with us, and Umbana for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. So wonderful.
As our people in Gambia say, Barang. I've been getting thank yous from all over the world. So I start picking up here and there. And my people in Germany say Dankeschön. So, yes, we appreciate you and keep up the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
We learn a lot from you. And please keep up the good fight.
Thank you.
So,
nice show.
Everyone listening, make good trouble. Bring donations, bring the love, support, share our work, and
you have to support this. It's a wonderful thing, and the studio is wonderful where I am, and I've been to channels. It's not like this. This is seriously. It's a big guy. We will talk about how much he's going to pay me.
We'll get there one day. All right. So I'll see you all next week. Thank you for the privilege of your company. Thanks for listening to White Label American. If you enjoyed the show, we'll appreciate if you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. If you have any questions, comments, or have someone who will be a good guest on the show, or you want to be on the show, send us a message at whitelabelamerican@gmail.com. And make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at White Label American. Thank you for your support.